Well, the BBC still, that I've seen, won't report on the email gate. And as you know and reported, sir, they got these 5 weeks before and refused to publish them.
That is another horrifying story, because in the old days, if you were a journalist and some news came your way, even if it was news that you didn't agree with politically, you knew what news was, you reported it. You could add caveats that maybe it was stolen, you could add caveats that maybe you didn't approve of it, but you still reported it. The BBC is now so politicized, so utterly the creature of the communistic, bureaucratic class that now runs the whole of Europe, whether our elected governments like it or not, and far too many of them do like it, alas, that we no longer have free speech on the air in this country. And most of the newspapers won't touch it either. There's only been 2 newspapers here that have really reported in any depth what is in these emails. The rest of them have loftily remained, they're still whittering on about how the global warming will spread malaria or drown the Maldives or cause floods and droughts or melt the Arctic ice cap and make the poor polar bears suffer. There are 5 times as many polar bears now as there were 40 years ago, hardly, as you may think, the profile of a species in imminent threat of extinction.
And Lord Monckton, as you say, that it's an official government number. They're all over the place, and I have seen the last week since these emails got leaked an intensification of scientists coming out and saying, we're all dead, pass it now. It seems like they are panicking, and a lot of people that were on the fence about this are really starting to wake up because of the ridiculous, alarmist statements by Al Gore and others.
I think there is definitely now the stink of desperation in the alarmist shrieking noises that we're hearing. They know they've been rumbled. They know they've been found out. They know the Bunko booth is about to be closed down, and their little scam, in fact, it's rather a large scam, is no longer going to go any further. And they are absolutely desperate to try to force this treaty through in Copenhagen. They're going to try to make sure that Obama never reads about the emails from the Climate Research Unit. You know, they have so many other things to read, these heads of state. If the bureaucrats don't want them to know about something, they can make sure they don't find out about it. And Obama probably doesn't even know these emails have happened. Even if he does know, I don't think he would care, but I don't think they will have even told him, because he wants to be able to have plausible deniability. Oh, gee, I never knew that when I went ahead and signed this treaty, which ended our Constitution.
Plausible deniability.
Jefferson earlier. May I quote Jefferson to you?
Yes, sir.
He is the founder of Obama's party, the founder of the Democrat Party, and this is what he said. He said, I have sworn upon the altar of God eternal hostility against every tyranny over the mind of man. Now what we're faced with is a tyranny worldwide over the mind and body of man. And it is the duty of every red-blooded United States citizen to oppose with every fiber of his being what is being done in his name by this administration to try to sign away your Constitution at Copenhagen. I went onto the Hill recently, and I went to see one of your greatest constitutional experts. He's a young lawyer. All you can see in his office is piles of books everywhere. And he sat me down on a pile of books, as it happened, and even before I'd sat down, he said, this treaty trumps the United States Constitution. This, he said, will be the end of the United States as we know it. That is how close your country is going to come to being extinguished. Ours has largely already gone, because the European commissars, whom we don't elect, now make 90% of our laws. But I don't want to see the beacon of freedom to the rest of the world, which is what the United States is. I don't want to see the United States going the same way. So if you are listening to this radio station, then get off your bottom, get out of that lounger, get a pen and paper, get hold of the number of the U.S. Senate, and ring the U.S. Senate, and ask to speak to both of your senators. Do not be fobbed off with an intern or a secretary. Make sure you speak to a senior staffer, at least, the senator himself if possible, and make it known that the Treaty of Copenhagen shall not pass. That's what you can do in the week that you have remaining to save your country and its democracy and the world's freedom that depends on your democracy.
Well said, Lord Monckton. Absolutely incredible. Again, you're a godsend. At the time you exploded on the scene after years of speaking out. You know, it caught fire in the the minds of men and women everywhere. Then these emails and documents, the code coming out where there's notes by the programmers how to engage in fraud, the notes about persecution, emails with John P. Holdren in there, and all this news in the Times of London, billionaire club and bid to curb overpopulation, secret meetings by the elite.